What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WWE After Dark. I'm your host, Luis Gonzalez, and today we're going to be talking about a couple random things. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining, and thank you for, joining Patreon, where we get a bunch of new shows, including this exclusive After Dark show, where you can just plop it on when you're, doing the dishes, going on a drive, taking a nap or something like that. Although I advise you not sleeping with this podcast because I can be a little loud. Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about how long it would take for you to watch everything the product has to offer. I'm going to break down some of the hours per product per show, add them all together and spit them all out just for you. So you don't have to do any math. So put down your calculator. It's time for After Dark. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about my personal experience, because that's what this podcast is about, is my personal experience with the WWE product. I've been saying that word a lot because I just discovered it. I feel like a new baby learning a new word. So the new Night of Champions just streamed this past Saturday, obviously. Big deal. You've already heard the reviews and all that stuff. So me, like a lot of you, are unable to watch some of these PLEs live, right? And this one was especially a little bit earlier than typical. I believe it was 10 a.m. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But I remember I couldn't watch it right away because life. And so after it was streamed and done, I was able to watch it pretty much right after it wrapped up, I think. And I went to go to Peacock, and I tried to click on the replay, and it was not available. Typically, I feel like it is very available right afterwards. But for some reason, this time around, it wasn't available. So I had to, but I did see something else that was available. I clicked it, and actually, to be honest, I didn't even know what I was clicking into. I just saw the option to play it. I first saw it open. It was like the live stream just ended. I tried to click replay. It wouldn't. So I scrolled down. I saw another thumbnail, and it said play. So I pressed play. And little did I realize that the thing that I clicked play on was the Spanish version, like the Spanish commentary version. Lucky for me, I can understand Spanish. Now, speaking Spanish, that's a whole other topic. But understanding, I can get by. So I thought, well, this is strange. I guess I don't want to wait to watch this. But I want to. But also, I've never experienced it in Spanish before with the Spanish commentators. So I said, why not? Let me listen to it. Let me watch it. So I did. I think I just watched the first match, and then something else came up. But crazy that the Spanish version was only available right after the live stream. I feel like I've seen it before where it was almost immediately available to watch, but very, very strange. There's been a lot of technical difficulties, I guess, in the past. Remember in SmackDown where the feed got cut off? So, yeah, I don't know. Have you guys done this? I'm assuming I'm the first person in the world to do it. It was the Spanish version. It worked for me, to be honest. It was okay. At moments, I was still able to hear Michael Cole and underneath their Spanish commentary. So, like when they're talking straight to camera and those type of situations. So there you go. Very funny situation. Also, what the hell's going on with the ads on Raw after the show is live? I was watching Raw after it started because I forgot it started at 3 o'clock. And I was watching it like around, an hour and a half past, plays. And then when the ad hits, it almost like fast forwards by itself. I'm like, great. Okay, cool. And then at home, when I was watching it later at night, I had to sit through some ads. I was like, what is going on? I can't crack this ad system on Raw. I feel like every time I watch it after it airs live, I'm able to just, it automatically skips it for me. So what's going on? Somehow I cracked the code because I was able to pause it right before the commercials hit and then fast forward it on my Apple TV right to the moment where it was after the commercials. Because when you scrub it through Apple TV, you actually get like a little preview window of what you're scrubbing through, what you're fast forwarding through. So I don't know what's going on. Let me know what is going on with the ads at Raw. I really don't know the technology behind it, but I'm on the case. I will find out and I will report it right to you in the next After Dark. Or it might be not the next one, but the ones in the future. But like I said in the beginning of this podcast, what I was going to do is break down how long it would take to watch all the shows, all the podcasts. If you're a super fan and you're like, I got to watch everything. Now, the good thing right now is that we're in a little bit of a, not lull, but things have shifted a bit. One, the A&E programming has ended one of their like rivals program. So that's no longer here. As well, SmackDown has now gone from 3 hours to 2 hours. If you didn't hear that on Raw, it was made very quickly, very, very quickly. It's going starting this Friday. It is going down to 2 hours. Thank the Lord. I am so happy. The amount of sleep that I'm going to be getting now, watching these shows. 2 hours of SmackDown, and you gotta watch. Like I gotta watch them that night. I can't watch it live, but I gotta watch it that night because, holy crap! I mean, it is the social media is riddled with spoilers. And immediately when a segment is ended, it's put online. Like WWE is notorious about this. Liv Morgan is notorious about this. It's just like I can't scroll. I can't go on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok is kind of actually a little bit safe to go right away. But it's to my own discretion, it's like good luck kind of situation. 2 hours of SmackDown. So let's break it down. I did the math. Here we go. We're going to start with Raw. Raw, 2 hours and 30 minutes on average is typically where they lock it in. Now, what I will say is I'm going to say that you're a super fan and you're watching everything with all the commercials. So that is with commercials, I believe. I don't know. This isn't a perfect science, but it's close enough science. So we have 2 hours and 30 minutes for Raw, 2 hours for NXT on Tuesday, 2 hours on SmackDown on Friday, and 1 hour for main event on Saturday, which is on Peacock, I just learned. We also have 1 hour of Evolve on Wednesday. And actually, you know what? How about I reorganize this? Because let's see. I'm going to reorganize this. Okay. At least for the shows, for the podcast, good luck. I don't even know when those come out. Okay, 2 hours and 30 minutes, Raw, Monday on Netflix. 2 hours on NXT on Tuesday at the CW. On Wednesday, in the afternoon for 3 minutes, it's Speed on Twitter. Later that evening on Tubi, you have 1 hour of Evolve. And then on Friday, you have 2 hours now on SmackDown. It's changed from 3 to 2. And then on Saturday on Peacock, you have 1 hour. And then LFG, Legends and Future Greats. I talk about it on the podcast. That went down from 90 minutes to 60 minutes, which is an hour. And I was surprised by that, but also grateful for it. I remember watching that show in the last season. I still haven't caught up this season. But the last season, I was surprised. I was like, man, I feel like I've been watching this for a bit. How much is left? An hour is still left? Or maybe 45 minutes? But they brought it down to an hour. I feel like that's nice. It'll keep things nice and tight for that. But one thing, I haven't seen this new season. I really hope they didn't cut down the matches. That was actually one of the coolest things was they played the matches out uncut. So I haven't seen season 2. It's nice that it is 60 minutes. It feels like I am behind on it. It will make it easier for me to watch it. Will I watch it soon? I don't know. Honestly, I'm at this place where I'm watching other content right now because it's the summer season and it's like, anyway, I'll talk about that later. Let's get back to this. Hour for LFG, that's on Sunday on A&E. That's all the shows. Sometimes there was the Stephanie McMahon show on the road. That was an ESPN. That's no longer airing. There was the Rivals show that was on A&E that's no longer airing. So that's what I was able to find right now. At least I don't know if I missed anything. And then let's go to the podcasts sponsored by Fanatics. These are all Fanatic podcasts. Cody, what do you want to talk about? His podcast is an hour 15. The Raw Recap is an hour 15. 6 Feet Under with Undertaker. So that went under a name brand change. It used to be six Feet Under with his actual name. And then that was an hour 15. Mark Calloway. And they changed it to Undertaker recently. And then the Stephanie podcast, that's very fluid, but that's going to average out to an hour, 30 minutes. So adding all that together, if you're like, I'm going to listen to everything, I'm going to watch every single thing, it equals out to 14 hours and 48 minutes. Those little 3 extra minutes come from speed. That's why it's not a perfect 14:45. So it's 14 hours, 48 minutes. I honestly expect it to be worse. But if SmackDown was 3 hours, that would be 15 hours and 48 minutes. If they had that Rivals show, it would have been 16 hours and 48 minutes. If there was 30 more minutes in LFG, that would have been 17 hours at least. So, we lost a couple hours, short of 18 hours, I believe. I'm kind of assuming at this point with content. Oh, put the Stephanie show at that one time. Yeah, I mean, you should pretty much hit 18:30 at the peak of when there was a lot of content being. And this summer, it is summer, so I don't know when it's coming out, but Netflix will be premiering their behind the scenes documentary. So, we have that. So let's say that's going to be at least an hour long. So let's bump this up in the future to be 15:48. Lose an hour in SmackDown, put that hour back on Netflix when you watch behind the scenes. So, what is this? This average is about 2 hours per day dedicating to WWE. Doesn't seem too crazy, but you can burn yourself out a little bit. And I don't know. It was interesting. I really wanted to know, and I expected it to be like 18, 19 hours, to be honest. But there you go. If you're ready to lock in and dedicate yourself completely, and then on a weekend that has 3 hours of a show, let's think worst case scenario, right? Let's say there was back to 3 hour SmackDown. That's 15:48. Let's say they had an extra show somewhere like Rivals or Stephanie McMahon, so that's now 16:48. And let's say this weekend there's a PLE, so now it's 17, 18, 19:48. And let's say there's an NXT thing that's matched with it. Now we're talking 21:48. And let's say this is SummerSlam or WrestleMania, so there's like another PLE. Now we're hitting 23:48. So on a busy weekend at the peak of everything, you could potentially, on a WrestleMania period or a SummerSlam period or something, you could be watching 24 hours almost worth of content, especially if you add in some of that pre-show. You're definitely hitting 24 hours. So at the peak of the peak, it's a full day commitment. Don't go to sleep. But outside of that, 14:48 is where my number's at. And you know what? If you are watching it not live, those numbers dip down more because there's advertisements involved in some of that stuff. So, I would even strike at least an hour, 13:48. Round it up to 13 hours, at least. Speaking of ads, obviously the Night of Champions happened. And, Matt talked about how there was this big Riyadh sign in the middle of the mat. But I will tell you one thing. I will say one thing is that, yes, their logo was dead center in the middle. But you know what else you didn't see? Huh? There was no other ads on the mat anywhere. Not on the mat, not on the banners, not on the posts, not on the little bumpers. There was no Prime machine or Prime hydration station. Nothing. There was nothing. Even the tables, no Slim Jim tables, no fireball ladders. It literally was the one Riyadh season. And as complicated of a situation it is going there, and yes, their logo was dead in the middle, there was something to say about there not being any other logo, and the underneath the ring, it wasn't that monitor that kept people from grabbing stuff from underneath the ring. It was like the good old days where you could grab chairs or tables from any side of the ring and nothing could stop you. This was a revelation to me as I was watching. I was like, you know what? Let me just live in this moment for a second and feel and kind of like just savor in the ads not being everywhere. So they bought it out. They were like, you're not getting distracted by Snickers, by Capital One, by Prime, by Netflix, by Fortnite. No, you're only going to see Riyadh, and it's right in the middle. And they didn't even put it anywhere else. At least I didn't notice. I mean, yes, they have the commercials, the ads, but as far as like display, the what's it called? The walls. I don't even know the word. I don't even know English anymore. The banisters, the walls, the separators from the crowd to the ring, dark, black, nothing. So that was enjoyable. I did enjoy that. No ads. So in a time period, I think it was last week, I said I would go in there, get if I could, I would buy a sponsorship and put no ads there. And then literally the following week, we get that way, kind of with Riyadh. So no ads. Earlier, I was talking about how I like to watch SmackDown on at night, sometimes Raw as well. You know, this has been a kind of a pain point for me. Of course, I want to watch it. I don't want to miss on social. Sometimes I'll watch it in the evening if I have time. But sometimes I have to watch it at night. I have a wife that likes to go to bed early. It puts me in a precarious situation because I'd like to watch it that evening. So sometimes I have to like cover my pillows a certain way. I have to like quasi get under the covers with my iPad. I don't mind it. Like it kind of is a kind of a cozy experience there. Very intimate. I feel like I'm in IMAX theater with how close this iPad is to my face. I do a lot of different like situations with this. But recently, it clicked in my head. I was like, why don't I just go get a privacy screen from Amazon? And you know, because I have people at work who have them, and it's so annoying. They try to show me on something on their laptop, and I can't even see it because they have the privacy screen. It's like, dude, I can't see it. And then they take it off, and it's a big hoo-ha, and it's a big, thing. But I said, I could use this for myself. So I went to Amazon, and I found privacy screens, but what I didn't want to do was have it permanently stuck on there like a screen protector, because it does dim the quality, the luminance. It's not as crisp and clear. For some people, honestly, you may not even notice. You don't even care. You'd be like, this is fine. But for me, as a video editor, for somebody who's in this stuff, it does take it away for a little bit. But I had to find one that was not one that would like stick on forever. But so I found a magnetic one that you could easily pop off and pop on. And it arrived just in time because she was like, hey, I want to take a little nap. You want to come with me to the bed? I'm like, sure, whatever. And so I go to the bed, I pop on the privacy screen. Ooh, baby, this thing is very nice. Like I was able to not have a heat stroke under my blanket while I was watching Raw, because when it's like Cody Rhodes going out there, it's like fireworks and strobe lights, and she just turns to me. She's like, can you please turn that down? What is going on your screen? So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, I guess, if you're sleeping next to it. So privacy screen, I highly recommend it. A magnetic, if you want an iPad, laptop, if you're with a significant other and you're watching it right next to them in the bed and you don't want it to distract them, big win for me, the privacy screen. Last thing I want to talk about is LA Night. Yeah. He's been popping up in Raw lately. Thank God. I feel like this is the place. We are teasing him. We are trying to, pilot this, to test it, to see if it works. I think it's working with him on Raw. Put him on there. And he's going to have LA Knight versus Seth Rollins at the main event. I cannot have LA Knight lose another match. Matt talked about this too. But he is going against Seth Rollins, who is like in that upper echelon of like, you really got to like kill him to make him get pinned. You got to like put a brick to his head, get a staple gun, staple his shoulders for him not to get up, because the man will kick out of a bunch of finishers. Another person who gets out a bunch of finishers is CM Punk. Cody Rhodes. Well, not with John Cena. It doesn't matter. Seth Rollins is a man who has to be hit with multiple finishes, with chairs. He's just like, he is resilient. Okay. LA Knight, unfortunately, has gone down for less. And the thing is like, I cannot have him lose again. He's going after Rollins. He's really trying to get revenge on him or get his. If he loses, it better not be clean for this one. I do love it when people cleanly lose to certain things. With people with two equal powers, it's like somebody has to win at something. They can't both be untouchable. And in this situation, I mean, Rollins he would win, I think. But it's just in this climate with LA Knight, he deserves a win. He needs a win right now. And I just wish it's not a clean victory. Please have the Bronze come out and both take him out or something. I don't really know. That's the only thing. I was excited, but I'm fearful. So let me know what you guys are thinking. But thank you for listening to the After Dark episode. Next week, I think we're going to go over main event stuff, predictions, things like that, betting. I like to do that. It makes my job easier to recap that stuff. But thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing to Patreon. Keep listening to all the other podcasts that we have coming out pretty much every single day. And if you want to keep listening to me and my own podcast, I got a podcast called Punch Drunk Nerd where we review movies, video games, TV shows, things like that. This Friday, we are going to have an episode on F1, the movie, starring Brad Pitt. So if you want to hear our thoughts about that and other news that's going around town in the Hollywood world, check it out. And wherever podcasts and YouTubes are sold or made, or the spiel. Okay, if someone has a podcast, it's everywhere. Thank you for listening, and until next time, see ya.